Hello everyone, this is Jimmy Singh, broker, owner of Supermax Realty, 647-961-2639. And welcome to my new video blog, Real Estate Edge with Jimmy Singh. So guys, today I would like to discuss a very hot topic. I have actually posted quite a few videos on why our real estate market in Canada is not collapsing, and especially in this video I like to focus about housing market in and around Greater Toronto area, Golden Horseshoe in Canada. So friends, there's couple of things we'll go over in this video. We will like to discuss what policy options governments have in Canada to calm the market, and second thing, what can be done to increase the supply of the housing, and what is the driving force in today's market in April of 2021. And yesterday there was an interesting news in the media regarding federal government announcing that 90,000 essential workers and international students will now qualify to get permanent residency in Canada. So if you are a temporary foreign worker and have a minimum of 1 year work experience in Canada in essential services field, especially healthcare, or you are an international student finishing post secondary education, for the last 4 years you just finished and you are employed, you can apply to the government to get PR, and the application starts May the 5th and the deadline is November the 5th. So if you're watching video and you have a friend or family who are in process of applying for immigration, this can be a great opportunity. And there has been research done time and again. It says new immigrants, when they come to Canada, 1 in 5 new immigrants buy their primary home within first 5 years. So I can see quite a few of them will end up exploring housing option. It's a different story whether they tend to live in around GTA or bigger cities, or they choose to move away. See, there was an interesting study I came across last month, and they said the United Nations estimate 2/3 of world population will live in bigger cities or cities by 2050. And after that study, over 40 countries around the world, they start building new cities in preparation for the upcoming boom. And as far as the builders industry association and land development in Toronto area, we called it BUILD, they are predicting by 2051 14.8 million people live in Greater Golden Horseshoe, starting from Niagara Falls all the way Ajax Pickering on that side east end, go all the way to Barrie and Kitchener, Waterloo, Hamilton, all these areas. So 14.8 million will live in around Greater Toronto area. See, as you're all aware, government already promised once the COVID vaccinations are done, they are looking to welcome roughly 400,020 immigrants every year for next 3-4 years. And they have to start thinking along building new cities. And one of the interesting things I found out was Sejong is a city in South Korea. They opened in 2012 to accommodate overcrowding in and around Seoul area. And then if I see Malaysia close to Kuala Lumpur, which is the capital, in 1995 they built a city called Putrajaya in Malaysia. So all the people, instead of just being focused or living around bigger cities, they move about. Same thing, in Middle East, King Abdullah Economic Center, that's what they call it, close to the Red Sea. They also start working on a new city in 2006, and once completed, they are estimating close to 2 million people will live there. So, guys, the challenge I see for the past 5-6 years is builders, they are not building enough over the last decade. For the last 10-15 years, we have a population boom. We have baby boomers getting married, having babies, increasing families, and now we are doing play up and just catch up for all the pent up demand locally and even the new immigrants, right? So we need to fix up red tapeism. We have to allow zoning flexibilities and faster approval process, because some developers say their application might take 5, 7, 8 years for the development, and they have to give some incentive to take care of development levies and charges, which are some cities are very high. So obviously, if the construction cost have risen in pandemic, cost of lumber has risen, and the pace at which we can build house also is slowing down. It is putting lot of supply challenges and inventory decreasing. Thereby we see all these multiple people bidding on a house because they really want it. So what was happening in pandemic is lot of affluent workers, they were working from home, they have stable jobs, they were successful in cutting lot of expenses. They are not traveling, they are not going to gyms, they are not doing expensive vacations, they are not buying expensive cars. So people have lot of savings now, right? And another thing I see is obviously housing become number one priority. Hence, when you go to Home Depot, you go to all these stores, you can see a renovation boom also in Canada in lockdown. People just want to improve their houses, renovate the house, put swimming pool, set up an office in the basement, or finish a basement to rent it to other individual, right? And I like to also share, because mostly media blames only individual investors for increasing the prices. I share a personal, experience. I think in 2017 or 2016, there was a condo pre-construction by the name Selby Condos. You can Google it. It is by Bloor and Sherbourne in downtown Toronto. So it was pre-construction, and I remember the builders, I think at that time was Funbrook and Diamond Corp. They were selling pre-construction, and as a VIP agent, I took 5-6 of my clients first day to buy those units, and almost everybody got the units. But after 5 or 7 days, we get a letter from the builder that they are not selling it, and they probably sold it to a big, probably pension fund or some a corporation, which converted Selby Condos to a rental building. So if you Google right now Selby Condos, it will show as Selby Rental in downtown Toronto by Bloor and Sherbourne, which was actually supposed to be a condo building. So that supply is taken off the market. And another interesting report I read was lot of US cities, big corporations, hedge fund managers, pension funds, they are buying houses. So basically, they are buying blocks of houses coming on the market because of the low yield they are getting in stock market. They are looking for aggressive returns. So you are not only bidding with single mom and pop investors, you are also now big pension fund, big corporations. They are also looking for residential properties, or because they see the incoming boom and shortage in the market. And especially with the rent control for many years prior to November of 2018 November, because of the rent control, lot of builders don't have incentive to make apartment buildings. But once the law changes, you can see certain towers going up all across Golden Horseshoe, right? So what are the options government have, right? So I know in today's market, buyers are feeling the heat, right? And sellers are not willing to put up their houses on the market because, we are again under another lockdown and they are not comfortable people walking around their houses. Yes, interest rate is historically low, and real estate certainly is, supporting our economy, and some numbers also showing we have improvement, in economy, right? But one thing I can assure you is market is not going to collapse. I see bunch of videos online, for the past couple of weeks, couple of people reach out to me. I think, Jimmy, market is going to crash in 2021. So I guess we have to just wait and watch. But I think it is very unrealistic to see that, because you already noticed government policies. They announced yesterday 90,000 people will get PR in Canada, students and foreign buyers, and obviously they're looking to get 1.2 million immigrants, into the system as well, right? To boost our economy as well. So only humble request I have for the politician is, instead of putting everybody close to one big city, they should open up all the Canada and provide better employment opportunities. Whether it's Alberta side, whether it is Atlantic Canada, Halifax. Canada is a beautiful city. So if people have manufacturing jobs, high paying jobs in all different provinces, people will spread out. It will put less pressure on big cities like Vancouver and Toronto real estate. So one thing I can see is 2020 market is different as compared to 2007 crash, kind of, in US when they put pressure on our market as well, and especially 2017 when government brought a lot of changes. It put pressure, and the market just came to a halt for a while, right? But we are not in similar situations, because as I keep telling, banks in Canada, they are very prudent. They do their research, and then if you have to qualify for rental properties, they do ask a lot of questions. Gone are the time when we have alternate documents or self-employed, where people state that I'm making 200,000 income, and they just based on your word, they give you mortgages. We are very tight. I applied for a mortgage for a rental property. They want me to show 6 months saving liquid for all my rental properties. They want me to show all the rents coming from my rental properties going directly into my bank account, to show that everything is in line, there's no arrears. So if some of the landlord taking cash money and not declaring, they might be in challenge, because how can they show to the bank that they're getting rent? So I always like to follow the law. I don't like to cut the corners. So at the same time, as I said, buying real estate is not that easy as it seems. There might be some videos saying, investors are, buying rental properties left and right. You still have to show a lot of paperwork for the bank to give you mortgage, and you have to have a good net worth. So the policies Canadian government is considering to cool down our market, real estate market, they are thinking of increasing the interest rate. That is one thing they can use, or making it hard for people to get mortgages, because lending is a very important tool for our market. If the liquidity is there, government is buying bonds, mortgage backed securities, it provides liquidity for the bank to keep lending. So if the banks are tightened, yes, market will slow down. So that is number one tool, I think, which is very powerful and potent. Second thing, they are thinking of increasing capital gain on primary house. That is a consideration, and I see in some media as well. But it is very, very unlikely, as they are saying, any party, whether conservative or liberal, if they vote for it, they might be voted out for power, because that is not a good way of approaching. Third thing, they are doing speculation tax. They already have NRST, foreign buyer tax, in around Golden Horseshoe area, but it didn't do much to calm down, right? The other thing they can do is they can increase the housing supply. Yes, I think that is a very, very important thing they have to work on. Increase land, close to away from green belt. So if a land is under green belt legislation, they should now open up some land, whether we are on 401, we are going on QEW towards Niagara Fall, or we are going close to the Berry. Yes, conservation of land is very important. We have to respect nature. At the same time, if we have population boom, so we have to find to build new cities, provide new infrastructure, so there'll be less pressure on our highways, our systems. That is very, very critical, because right now what I'm noticing in pre-COVID, schools are all full. When I used to live in Brampton, I noticed, my daughter used to go to school, they have pods outside. They don't have classes for putting all the kids together, right? Because there's a lot of people living in basements in the house, so they have to find a solution. They can't keep putting things under the rug and say, you vote us, we come to the power, and then we'll do it. Same thing with the infrastructure. They already know so many people are going to downtown Toronto, and QW is all full. So they have to put some kind of subway system, just like we have in New York or top European cities. So there will be less people driving on highways, hence less accidents, hence less car insurance. So we have to find permanent solution, not put a band-aid. That is very, very important. And lastly, they have to do something to bring transparency to the bidding process. In Ontario, 99% agents, they are very ethical, but as I said, I rather see ethical bidding, so people know exactly what first bid, second bid, third bid is offering, so they can fine tune instead of paying 50, 100, 200 over asking, from the second offer or third offer. They know if somebody is offering 800,000, I have to just beat him by paying 5,000 more, because I think that works for everybody. You know what I mean? And again, guys, leave your comments. Again, I will keep posting my new video blogs on different topics as the market evolve. So I just want to share my thoughts for the day. So if you have any questions, concerns, they are very important for me as a feedback. So leave your comments. I will revert back. And if you like the video, give a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, subscribe. Real Estate Edge with Jimmy Singh. And if you're a new agent looking for a career path in pandemic, want an extra hassle, give Team Supermax a call. My number directly is 647-961-2639. Thanks for watching, guys. God bless you.